Real estate market is at a wonky situation right now in the Northeast, New York City, Jersey City area, the tri-state. It's very weird, both on the selling, buying side as well as the renting side. I've been speaking to a realtor just so I can get her perspective on exactly what's going on. And on the selling side, she's saying a lot of sellers are asking for cash deals for the reason of what? We don't know. They just want cash. They're lazy, they're not fixing anything, and they just want to get out of a certain deal. Buyers are willing to still bend a bit to be able to offer more and not offer the cash and do it on financing, because who wants to put all their cash in something that we're not too sure, uncertain about? At least if you have some of your cash set aside, some of it is financed, you can survive a year through going some rough situations. If all your cash is inside of the property, you don't have nothing left, then it becomes very difficult. Mortgage rates came back up. 30-year fix is over 6% now, as we can see with this number here. On the rental side, and just looking at Jersey City, for example, there are 3,700 rentals available, which seems like there's a high bit of supply. Having face on the ground, because I'm experiencing it right now, and I can tell you, listings I had, so many showings, but so many people, their financials don't make sense. A lot of people flake off. They'll inquire and actually don't go through even getting through the scheduling part. And the people that have seen it and scheduled, aside from financials not coming part, they're not following back up. It's a sign that those are certain kind of people you definitely want to avoid. I think the market is in a rebalance phase right now, because even on the buying selling side, I almost went to a contract into property where the seller was not willing to fix anything at all. And I asked for a certain amount of credit because I'm willing to do the work, but the numbers have to make sense. But he still wasn't willing to do it. The property did end up selling. Somebody ended up purchasing it. Of course, the area was a great area. I'm sure whoever did it either had the funds to be able to survive through the times. Because for me, it has to not necessarily be a profit margin right away, but at least close to break-even point. So that way I can see the returns in the shorter term, mid-term situation. For the rental side, it's just super high supply, super high demand. It's a lot of noise to cut through, and the same right now is happening in the job market too. As I'm speaking to recruiters, it's just the whole economy is at this high supply, high demand, and AI is supposed to be kind of helping to leverage all that stuff, so that way we're filtering out things that are more relevant to us and create that matchmaking in a much better capacity. But it's tough right now, realistically. And just looking at some of these rentals right here, a 2-bedroom at $19.50, and let's see where this is located, because more in South Jersey things used to be cheaper, but nowadays we're not so sure. This is in the Heights, so this is expected to be more expensive. Most locations, the more up north you go, the more expensive it is. Now let's find something else. Let's look at this one. This is a 4-bedroom at $2,400. This is very unrealistic. This, I think a lot of people will probably jump on it because, and this is in South Jersey too. Around here, things are pricier for sure. 4 bedrooms are not in that price range usually, unless this is like a very slumlord. Like most landlords charging that much, like the numbers don't make sense for a 4-bedroom at that capacity. This person is kind of close to being realistic. They have a 2-bedroom at $2,400. I think this is a little bit overpriced, but let's see how many contacts. They had 1 contact, so which is good. And let's look at just one more. Now this is realistic of what a 3-bedroom typically costs, $2,600. It looks like it's pretty good, decent condition, and yeah, everything else looks fine. They're asking for a standard security deposit and fees. Other than that, yeah, everything looks decent. 1 contact. So this is more realistic in what the price would make sense because of the cost of repairs, maintenance, all this stuff. You want to make sure you're listing this at a point that makes sense. You don't want to just try to get somebody in there, and then on top of that too, what I notice is more somebody's willing to pay for something, the more they'll cherish and appreciate it, less hassle you'll have. It's a sad reality to see. In the beginning, I didn't have that mindset, but I had to get the experience in order for me to overcome that. Look, this is close to Journal Square. This is a 1-bedroom apartment close there. It's at $2,200. That's pretty pricey. Starting 1 bedrooms realistically around $1,700-$1,800, closer to South Jersey, but it looks like up north, this is the price point that they're asking. Let's see how many saves was actually on this, because this is how we can tell and track the demand. This is 800 square foot, 1 contact. Now this right here, 3-bedroom. This is more in the midsection. This is kind of like the rowdy area of Jersey City. It could be pretty hot over there, but it's a 3-bedroom. Looks like it's in pretty good condition. Not modern amenities, 0 contacts. The man just seems to be a bit lower. Things are tough, realistically speaking. That's what I'm noticing. That's what's happening. And the realtor I usually work with, she definitely confirmed that. What you have to remember is don't run into a situation in which you just want to run to the money, because it's very tough to get rid of people once they're inside of the home as a landlord. And you as a tenant as well, you don't want to just be trying to get the cheapest rent just because you want to pay the cheapest amount of money. Most of the time you'll find that these landlords are either slumlords, lazy, or really incapable of providing you the best service, because it costs to operate these things, and costs have increased over the years for people that are fixing the home. The materials have went up, therefore this has to pass on. Property taxes went up, insurance went up. It's becoming a very tougher market. And that's what you have to realize. If you see a very, very cheap rent, you want to question the people that live in the building. If there aren't any that you can actually speak to, really figure out another way. The neighbors, find some way to get some answers. And most of the time, these cheaper rents too, they have a high demand. A lot of people are just flooding to them, asking to just see this place, get this place, and make it happen. But you have to make a choice at the end of the day. Do you want to pay for that comfort, peace of mind, that luxury, so that way you can have that longevity? Because if you're looking at this for the short term, or I'm saving a couple of dollars, but then I'm going to be dealing with this long-term headache, it might not work out. Same for landlords as well. You don't want to try to offer the cheapest amount of rent, attract certain type of people. Unfortunately, this is how the reality is. I'm sorry to say, but it's just from my experience, as well as what the majority of people that are always willing to pay that lesser amount, or like, it's always equating to that kind of situation. And I'm not ruling everybody out. There's always exceptions for sure, but it's just the most of the time, people that are willing to pay more, they're willing to appreciate your place a lot much more. And that also going through the process. If you have a rigorous process, it's good, because you can actually eliminate a lot of people that are not meant to be there. When you make it so simple, straightforward, and easy, and people are not willing to go through that hurdle, trust me, they're going to give you a much harder time, and you're definitely not going to want to deal with this for a long term. So you want to ensure that you have a personality matching system that can work, that can operate, so that way you bring the right people into the home. And you as a tenant as well, if there are things that you're not willing to accept, put it all out up front, ask questions, talk to the neighbors to ensure that you're moving into something for the long term, because things are going to get harder. Once you in there, it's going to be harder for you to find a spot. That is what I'm noticing. The things are tough on both sides, landlord side as well as tenant side. So you definitely want to think 10, 50, 100 times about exactly those decisions that you are making. Hope you find all this insightful, and just stay strong out there. Just stay dedicated to what you desire, what you want to focus to. Hold on to really that faith. You will find something if you're a tenant that's looking, and you as a landlord, you also will get someone that's willing to appreciate what you have to offer, and always give your best services no matter what, just like we are expected to for Christ. Peace and love. Trust in Jesus. Have an amazing one.